Perfect. So greetings to my listeners and viewers. I am the host of the Glimpses of the Warrior Within Martial Arts podcast, Deirdre Y. Cole, and I have with me the beautiful, the one and only, the phenomenal Kumu Michelle Manu. Michelle, I am so grateful to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting. Girl time.
Yes. So for those of y'all that don't, me and Michelle are red lip warrior sisters, just in case y'all didn't know. Check us out. You know what I'm saying? That's right. That's right. Get with it. Get with it. So recently, I had the pleasure of sharing space with Kumu Michelle on Sensei Emmett's podcast when he honored us during the Women's Warrior Week. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Sensei Emmett, all the way in Ireland. I think he is amazing and phenomenal that he would take the time to honor women and give women a platform. And I just want to say kudos to you, Sensei Emmett. If you're watching or when you decide to watch, we just want you to know we appreciate you. So, and blessings to you. Us. Okay, so Michelle, let's talk. I was just watching some videos and doing a little studying or whatever, and I was like, wow, we have a lot of similarities. And I'm like, wow, I cannot wait to just get in here and just share. So, for the people that don't know, tell us all where you are originally from. Where were you born?
Well, we moved around, so I was actually born in Chicago. My father traveled from Hawaii Island, met my Scandinavian mother in Chicago. And we moved back to the islands for about a year and then pretty much landed in different parts of Southern California. So
Chi-town. And that's one of the similarities because I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Milwaukee, which is right up the road.
Yes.
Yeah, about 90 miles, about an hour and a half away. And I started, my training in Milwaukee, but I did do some training in Chicago too. So we have that in common. So now is that where wait, let me back up. So how big is your family? How many siblings and where do you fall in
Oh my gosh. Well, I am the oldest of 5. So, and we're all so very different and some are estranged and that's just like every other normal family, right? So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Like how you said that every other normal family, right? That's right. We all got our function and dysfunction going on in families, but you know what? That's all good though. So here we are. We made it.
That's right. Makes life interesting. I wouldn't have it any other way. I think perfect is boring. This illusionary idea of perfection and perfect. There's no such thing. So
I agree.
Yeah, it causes a lot of stress and anxiety and depression if you think that there's this level of perfection that you must attain, whether it's within ourselves or in our nuclear families or externally in our world. There's just no way.
Man. So, and I wish that we could have, for myself anyway, that I could have learned that so much earlier in life. You know what I mean? And to spend so much time trying to figure that thing out and trying to fit and trying to whatever, So
I hear you.
Yeah. So here we are. So Michelle, tell me, so how did you, when did you first start your training and what style was it your initial training? What style was that?
Well, I started when I was 9 years old and it was Kempo, believe it or not. And then as I went to Chicago, was a touring Polynesian performer, I decided I missed martial arts and I wanted the conditioning as well because being on stage was very strenuous. I was at the gym for a period there twice a day, but at least once a day. And I really I started to gravitate towards Korean martial arts because of the cardio aspect. Okay. And that really helped me on the stage. But then it was when I returned home to Southern California in 97 is when I found my teacher. It took a trial and error though, because it was pre-internet. So I had to open the Yellow Pages and search. And I went to look at 2 other schools. One was really memorable. It was a Hapkido school. You could tell he didn't have any female students and I probably would have disrupted the element there. And so then I eventually found my teacher. So so I've been, although he took like 2.5 years to reprogram my body and the way it moved. And now I really feel I'm all Lua when you look at my movements. And so I've been training since then with my teacher.
So again, more similarities. We started around the same age, around 9. We started Kempo, right? And I'm like, that is my sister for real. And now let's talk about this. I heard you mention something, and something I was watching. Never mind the helicopters and airplanes flying over me. I'm sitting outside trying to have a little flower in my hand.
I know, beautiful.
So listen, though, let's talk about how important it really is to find the right teacher individually. How important is that? Isn't that important?
Extremely important, but it's interesting what will be attractive to us based on who we are at that moment and stage in our life. So it just varies. But it's extremely important to find the right teacher and to feed you what you need to learn at that moment in life, not just in martial, but also in your self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And so I just want to give a shout out and pay homage to your teacher too. And tell us what his name is. May he rest in peace. I know he's got to be godly proud of you carrying on his legacy in the way that you do. But let's just give him a moment and a shout out and mention his name too.
Sure. I always hope to make him proud. I hope that, you know, he's watching in a spirit form and saying, good job, girl.
Yes.
Solomon Kaivalu. Yes, as my teacher who left us next month, 2 years ago. So it's been a transition, you know, and miss him very much. Yeah.
I can only imagine. But I know he's got to be proud of you, girl, because I watch you and I'm like, this now, that's my Shiro right there. Let's talk about that She program that I heard you talk a bit about. Let's talk about that. Tell us what that's about.
Well, it's interesting how things just birth themselves, and we either are obedient to that path and that calling or we're not. And I happened to be obedient to it when it presented itself in 2014. I was in Atlanta, and my host, Michael Reed of Reed Martial Arts, he arranged for a self-defense class, and I had never really taught women before. So I was thrown out into this massive dojo, beautiful. And there was, you know, press that was done in the local area. And so there was close to 80 women that showed up.
Oh, wow.
And it was such a learning experience for me to see that we can't teach self-defense in the same way that we teach martial arts, the traditional form, that it needs to be catered to the everyday woman. And that they don't understand certain lingo, and they're not just going to do this, that they actually have to believe they can first in order before the body then shows it. Whereas kind of opposite with men. Men work through it, they work the techniques, then they start to believe, yeah, man, I can do this. Or why aren't I getting this? I'm going to focus more. Whereas women's, we shadow different, we learn differently. Majority of us that don't have any training, that they have to believe that if they're up against a gun, a knife, or a choke, or a punch, that they're actually going to be able to survive. And so as they start believing this and these affirmations we go over and their internal power and finding that, then you can start to see that manifest and focused and then exerted in their body. So it was 2014 where the She program, Superhero Experience, I know it's gimmicky, but it worked. And it women have historically shown up over all these years in different states, in different countries, dressed up in superhero attire. You know, we don't go to work in sweats. We go to work in a suit. That we dress for the part. It helps us focus our energy. And it's been a tremendous success with women experiencing homelessness, Girl Scouts, universities, and women that have experienced domestic violence and, of course, sexual assault, battery, and rape. So it's really, you know, no matter what our origin story is, we have the ability and the power to rewrite that at any moment. And that is really what the She program has been about. You know, we may walk around in our alter ego, but ultimately we are in our superpower if we so choose to be. We can be in disguise, but still very much present. Yes.
Right. It's like, and that's, you know, like you talk about there's such a connection between our femininity and, you know, the duality between, because it's like, you're right, we have to show up this way or whatever, but it's all who we are. I mean, we're all that, you know, we have we can turn into, oh, you know what I think, wait a minute, let me back up. Let's talk about, I know you've been athletic all your life, but let's talk about this football, girl. I didn't know. So you played football, Michelle.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, when a pre-lingerie bowl, I might add.
Well, tell us how you came about even stumbling across, finding out is that something you always wanted to do, or did it fall in your lap, or how did that come about?
It's one of those like implants, right? We're sitting there, we're not, we're kind of open to like, okay, what next? And I was still training, obviously, but it was in 2001 where I just woke up and I'm like, I want to play football. Like I want to play football. So I got online, I started searching. There were 3 teams near me. And so I went to try out and I made the team, and it was pretty remarkable. But, rewinding back to high school, I was a competition cheerleader. And then when we're not on the competition circuit, we obviously would be cheering. And I used to watch, obviously there, and I was known as the violent cheerleader because I would literally lose my spot on the sidelines on the track and run and scream as we've got the ball and we're almost there and I'm screaming. And I thought, you know what, one day I want to play football. And then so, 10 years later, here I am wanting to play football. And I made the team and I played a good 5 seasons. The last season I was on call. And it was just a lot of fun, and the athleticism of the women, I mean, truly remarkable. And, you get to see how athletes also care for themselves. The locker room smelled really badly. I'll tell you that right now. But the pain pill popping pre, during, post game, the injuries, the energy drinks. And I always really felt like if I had to do all of that to stay on the field, then I really shouldn't be on the field. And so I was truly one of those all natural athletes. And I did get injured, obviously, double pulled my groin and different things, forgetting my sports bra. That was another issue. There's these funny stories, behind the scenes stories that really, when I look back on that time of my life, just make it really comical, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I really had it played like a team sport. There's the solo and then there's the team. And I really, being one of 11 on half of the field was just such a rewarding thing for me. And I cried when we won and I cried when we lost. And I never really cried before. I still don't cry, but it was such this emotional thing. And I'm so grateful to have had that experience.
That's amazing. Wow, what a beautiful life story. So now we didn't talk yet about so your hula dancing. Is that something you started prior to martial arts or something that came after around the same time? How did that happen for you?
That was pre-martial, if you
That
can
was
believe
pre-martial.
it.
Really?
Yeah, I started exposure to it about 3, and then I joined a halau in Anaheim, California at 12, and then when I moved, that primed me for the stage. But it was a very strict halau. I was not actually during those 2 years, 3 years, I was on the floor the entire time. I was never allowed to stand and use my lower body. I was one of those that watched the big girls stand and be able to use their lower body and upper body. Whereas I was on the ground on my knees using implements or just doing the movements with my upper body. So when I got to be on stage, it was felt like a graduation in a way. And it wasn't until about 7 years ago when I was asked to contribute to a research paper for University of Hawaii, that I had to sit in my hula and just sit in the lua and make this correlation of what hula move is actually a lua move, what non-contact move then became contact. And it's just continued to develop. And it made me love my hula more. And it's made me more efficient in my lua. And so we've got the historical stories of how once lua was publicly banned, that it was hidden within the hula from those that, didn't allow it to be publicly shown and displayed anymore. And so when you look at today's world, as far as our culture, hula was proclaimed to be able to be shown back in public. Same with surfing, that was banned at one time. But lua never really has had a public proclamation that can be shown in public again. And they've been completely separated. So I often wonder, do hula dancers, the hundreds and thousands and millions of hula dancers out there all over the world, know that they're actually concealing warrior movements of contact?
Yeah.
So it's really a fascinating study at this time.
That's very fascinating that it's a hidden martial arts. It was in the hula. It's hidden in there. I never would have realized or known that.
Yes.
That makes so much sense. And So now
Mm.
let's talk about, so are there many different types of the Lua art, or let's talk about the one that you do and teach specifically. Can you tell us a little bit about that
Sure.
particular?
Yes, yes. So there's many different arts, many different practitioners. Every island has many practitioners, known or unknown. I would say, out of all of my experience, that there's three main lineages that you hear about. Two of which don't teach individuals without Hawaiian blood, and one that does, and that would be the line that I come from, the Kaivalu family lineage. And being on the mainland, there are quite a few Polynesians, but it seems as though there are others that would love to learn about the cultural practice, warrior art,
Hmm.
because they're universal principles, whether we call them one thing in Hawaiian or one thing another in a different indigenous culture. So, my teacher paved the way, received death threats, and taught non-Hawaiians. And so I ride on those tailcoats now, and those wings, the airstream from those wings of him teaching non-Hawaiians and women. I would not be sitting here with you today if he had kept those belief systems, because I always thought that women weren't allowed to learn. But we're always learning. And this is why I rely heavily on the elders today for
Hmm.
information and misinformation. And it turns out there were women warriors. If
Yes.
you Google Hawaiian woman warrior, nothing comes up. We have actually historical records of the names of the women, what islands, what they were trained in, what their favorite weapon was, and how they led their people and how they were trusted. And I learned from another elder that the woman's version of Lua is far deadlier, because they did not have time to go through the traditional training, because they were always protecting everyone. So I think, with the missionaries that came, the visitors, the contact individuals, they brought their same distorted and limiting view of women in their culture to our culture. And unfortunately, that still perpetuates today. So my job, I feel, here during this lifetime, not just for this moment, is
Uh-huh.
to show that our foremothers were very powerful, we're very precise, we're formidable, we're trusted, we're not restricted in any way, that had inherent value. And this is where
Yes.
I hope all of us women as a whole in this world can move towards. And where we are now is so amazing. I never thought I'd see us like this,
Yes.
discussing these matters freely without
Yes.
feeling condemnation. I never
Yes.
thought I'd see it in my lifetime.
I know, and with red lipstick on, girl.
That's right. Red heels,
You
you
pick
know
up a
it.
stick or a knife and do some damage too on top of it. Love it.
And
I
to
love
be
it.
elegant and to be
Oh my
powerful and not have to rise up against every little idiot that
goodness.
has something to say. So,
Yes. Tell it,
yes,
Michelle. Tell it, tell
stand
it,
in it.
tell it. Oh, I tell you what an empowering feeling. Just that alone, what you just said. That, I mean, I tell you that I never thought I'd see it either. I mean, because we've always had to be, in somewhere kind of in the background, or, whatever. But you know what? No, we're creating our own stories now, and we can tell them the way that they should be told from us
Yes.
directly. And what I really love about it is, especially like women like yourself and me and other ones that are coming together, and, with no ego or no hating or nothing, but just wanting to see each other shine, and, to
Yes.
push each other forward. And trust me,
And
it is on my
bring your
list to get
gifts
out.
forward.
Absolutely, because it's on my list to get out there and train with you, sister girl, for real, for real.
Oh, yeah. All
Okay,
right. I
you
hope
watch.
so.
I'm coming. I am coming,
Good.
and I've manifested it. It's on my list, and it's going to happen soon, sooner than later. So
I love
yes.
that. Oh, I welcome you with open arms.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait. And so, you know what I wanted to talk about too, because you talked about, the women warriors, and how, because they didn't have time to train, because they were so busy, being, mothers and everything else. I listened to you talk about the tripping cords, and I was amazed.
Yes,
I
so
was
that was one
amazed.
of the favorite weapons of the ancient woman.
Let's
And it
talk
think of it
about.
as a, yeah,
Do
think of
you
it as
have
a,
that? Do you have that near you? Do you have a?
I only have a kaane here, which
Okay.
is a strangling cord, and that's 6 feet, but the pikoi is 20. And so you can imagine there are chants and writings about how proficient they were with this lasso. So it's a lasso with a jagged tree root, a sharp pohaku, a rock or a stone, or anything on the end that can propel it forward. So it's there's stories of them in trees and binding up, wrapping up their prey from underneath, jumping down, finishing their prey. It's really quite remarkable.
Those stories need to be told, and they need to be, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness. We got to get on here and talk some more and, educate the people and just, you know what I mean? Because I think it's just so empowering to know. And it's just so sad that it was just so, purposely, not told, I hate that, but I'm glad that we're talking about it.
I know.
I'm glad that you're doing and that you.
It's just time to bring these real life stories, not a fictional story about a video character that's a warrior. I mean, we are so diminished in society that so we need everything that was burned. We need to bring those stories back from the ashes. Everything that was hidden, we need to unhide them and bring them out and share this. Because it doesn't just empower us, it empowers all of those that are coming up behind us as well. And it also helps us understand why we've been made a certain way, when we've questioned why we have these behaviors, why we have these thoughts, why we have these tendencies, and why we're being propelled forward and attracted forward in a specific manner. It helps to clarify, like, oh, that's why.
Yes, all worth it, right? And I see you oftentimes with those beautiful grins. What an overload of cuteness my heart wouldn't be able to take. I'm like, oh, they are so adorable and precious. And you all look like you have so much fun together. And I'm just like, wow. And you look like, for sure, I would never guess that those were your grandchildren. You like, for sure those were your babies. I mean, because you're so youthful and beautiful. And I am just amazed with your talent, with your ability, with your humbleness, with your spirit, your kindness. I feel a kindred spirit between us.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful to be sharing space once again with you. And I can't wait to see all the things. I know it's so many great things ahead, for you. And I'm just going to be rooting and, cheering you on.
And likewise.
Thank you.
I see all that you do, and it's inspiring, and I love it. It's stepping out of that fear of being criticized, being judged, and saying, you know what? These specific gifts and talents are to me. There's enough in the universe for everyone to show and share and impact. And that is, I don't know if some of your viewers understand how much courage that takes to share and to expose and to lift others up. And I think it's just a really cutting reminder for those that can't find that courage. And hopefully they'll look at it and not without jealousy and say, you know what, she can do it, so can I.
Absolutely.
So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thank you, Kumu. Thank you so much. I mean, and that's right. I mean, it's like we have to, I look at it like this. The part about being vulnerable or whatever, I feel like people can, I feel they can be reached if you're just willing to just tear down those walls and just say, hey, it is what it is. I don't care. Judge me. I don't care. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. And I want to use my vulnerability and, the things that I've been through to share with other people, to give them exactly what you said, that courage and that, hopefully that, that extra drive or push they may need to say, you know what? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Because we can't take it with us. You've got to pay it forward. We got to pay it forward. And I'm just like, I just want to pay it forward and then provide a space for other people to come and do the same thing, Which,
only opens up more opportunities for you to make a difference. And you really reach others. I don't think if people don't understand the energy of abundance, then they don't understand exactly what you're talking about. I wrote something the other day, maybe would I be able to read it? It's about competition. I know it's a personal note for myself and was going to develop a little bit further, but maybe since we're talking about this,
sure.
Your competition isn't other people. Yeah, your competition is the resistance and distractions you allow. It's your inner dialogue, past events, procrastination, excuses, habits, unhealthy nutrition, the lack of application of the things you learn about, and refusal to move incrementally towards what is important to you. Work with what you have and where you are. Transition from the comfort and ego to consistent self-evolution and turning potential into self-actualization. So I don't think people really understand when they're in the ego and
Yes.
and when they're looking for external validation to feed them instead of internal. What we are allows us to do what we do and what opportunities come our way. I think if they could realize there's no competition, I think they would step into that freedom of being able to accept all that they are, good and bad, things we're working on, things we've got mastered. We're never perfect. Remember, perfection.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
just to
working
have that freedom. So
Yeah. And that's, so and to sum up, that was beautiful what you read. It's like they're, being vulnerable is really not weak. It's actually quite the opposite. It's the most strength that one could have,
I
it
was
makes
just having this conversation this morning. It's not
wow.
easy, but it is worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. 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 So, well, I know you're getting ready for your class. I know you have a class to teach soon, right? Are
Two
you
privates and then a class. Yeah.
okay? Okay. I don't know if we have time to see you do
Of course
something.
we do. Continue. Anything else you'd like to talk?
Yes. 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 Okay. So let me quick ask you: do you have a favorite weapon, or yeah,
Ooh.
or
So I don't know. Like I was talking about awareness and our self evolution and different stages at different points of our experiences. At one time, every single weapon has been a favorite, and I guess that's a good thing because I had my specific time with learning and mastering and making each weapon. But no, I'm not at this time. I mean, I'm deep into the short bow, the ko'o right now because it's in warrior level 3 for my students. So we're really into, I'm working with that mostly right now, but I love all of them very much. They're all different. But weapon or no weapon, it's our movements that determine where and what that weapon is going to be and do, and mastering the body so that it can, the whipping motions and things like that, setups. That's exciting for me because each weapon is different size and requires different movements and thoughtfulness, as you use it.
and how blessed are you? I was listening to you speak about how some of the weapons that you have in your possession are handmade by your instructor.
Yes. And those I don't really take out of the home, especially the sharp tooth weapons. Those has his, he signed
No, no,
them with.
no. I mean, that's just such a, what I mean, to have that though, to have that part of him that is, it's like chilling thinking about it, to have, because I know how much he must have meant to you and likewise. So, but to have those things that he made and
Thank you
handcrafted
so much, sis.
those, and I know that, wow,
His
he's a
energy. Well, I mean, like everything in the culture, they make jokes like you throw a rock and a tree will be sacred. Everything on Hawaii is sacred. I mean, it is to the people, but what made things sacred was the process of making it, was the intention and prayer that was put into, anything that was made, anything that was done, any practice, whether it's fishing or, I mean, it could be anything. And so with the weaponry, while the weapon maker is making it, he or she is praying for a long life for this weapon, for it to bless and to protect its owner, to have a long life, to all of this goes into that piece of wood that was once living. And so that's really what made it sacred. And so when I look at his weaponry, there's his energy, his mana, his power, his intention for me and those weapons, placed into that wood. And so, yes, they're very special to me.
You are so blessed. That is amazing. That is, well, show us some stuff. Show us. I know, because it's like you're so like you to just look at you, and for you all that don't know, to just look at Kumu Michelle, you think, oh, she's cute.
I don't know if cute's the right word.
She is deadly. And I mean, and just to be the duality of that, to be that deadly and to be that beautiful and graceful and kind and humble, but you could just, to know that you can just rip something to shreds, it's just like, it's amazing to me. And I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, this is who we are.
Yes.
This is who you are. This is
Yes.
who every woman is. I think we
Yes.
just don't know it. And we don't have to be the masculine version of a female. We don't have to be tough. We can laugh. We can smile. We can wear red lipstick. And you flip that switch and we're something else. We're formidable and we're in your face, and we're not gonna quit, especially when it comes to our loved ones being threatened or our own lives being threatened. So yeah, of course. And that is what we should aim for.
Yes.
Is the perfect balance of intellect and spirituality, masculine and feminine, the action and the potential energy, the setup. You cannot have one without the other.
Yeah.
So all this hard, all this cool, all this rock 'em, sock 'em, kick 'em, cowgirl, cowboy stuff. Where is the feminine in that? And we have to be balanced. Otherwise we're off. So I'd love to show you some stuff. Let me bring you into this space and you just tell me what you'd love to see.
Okay.
And we will do it.
Okay. Okay. Oh, this is so awesome. Yes.
I don't know if you'd like to see weapons. I don't know if you'd like to see some boxing. I don't know if you'd like to see some hula into Lula. It's all up to you.
Wow. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All of that sounds amazing. Let's see. Let's see some hula. Yeah.
Hula. Okay, great. Okay. We got different types of hula. There's the ha'a, which is the ancient warrior hula. There's the kahiko, which is the traditional ceremonial storytelling, ritualistic. And then you have the awana, which is 19th century, which is what we see, the kitschy hula. But there are some really great things to awana, which is the energy like movement wave through the body. So my favorite obviously is one of the movements is the hawk. It turns into elbow striking, but I'll show you several different things, and I'll show you in the different ways of the hula, the ancient and the awana. So
Beautiful. Beautiful.
okay. So let's start with the kiss. So we're gonna do one hand and we're gonna do two. And so kahiko, the more strict, serious, would be more like this. Okay, so we've got awana.
Awana. Okay. Nice.
So when we turn that into lua, we get in our fighting stance, and the same movement you saw me do here is actually our shuffle step forward and back. So when we shuffle in and we shuffle back, do you see the correlation?
Yeah.
So we're turning that into lua. If I wanted to come in, someone comes to grab me, my kids, the keiki, pick up the forearms and I go straight for the eyes.
Yeah.
So it's an eye swipe. So we can do it one or two. And I think I'm going to move Bob out just a little bit. Sorry, he's in here from.
Hey, Bob.
Use our legs whenever we can.
Right. Bob is everywhere.
You know it. So if I do this, if I come in, there's the eye swipe. So this is, so guard up. So that's the eye swipe. Yeah. So our flower, there's two different ways to do it. It would be kahiko style would be the more serious. So this is picking the flower, showing the flower.
Okay.
Awana. This turned into lua is all of the wrist grabs straight on. So here's the flower.
Yes.
Then striking. So, that's very beautiful. So
you're amazing. Wow.
No, these are all regular movements hidden within the hula.
Yes.
Straight-legged kick. So one of our classic movements from the kane, the waist down. So this is considered the man. This is considered the woman. These are considered the kids, and these are the grandkids. The whole family must work together.
Okay.
So when we do this, we can't have the wahine sticking over the kane. They must always be together, moving as a unit, as a family. The kids cannot be lazy. We shoot something, we bring it back. They shoot their weapons, they come back and they guard their mom. And they tell her what's going on out there. So there's this parable that we work with. And so hula, same thing. The man is carrying the woman, but woman's kind of in charge. We can have something, man here, and the woman's completely shifted here, and here comes the kids. So everything, they may not be square going the same way at all times. Lua is pretty difficult, when it comes to the cutoff of the body. The kaholo is what you just saw me do, the step together, step touch, right? But then there's the hela, and the hela turns into a straight-legged kick. So when we do say it's just forward and forward, it can be at 12 o'clock, it can be at 1 o'clock, it can at 11, 2, and 10. Now, when we do this, and so let's say hula, it would be, so that's what it looks like from the side. Okay. But turned into lua, when we get very close, it turns into this kick. So you're using everything. Here's my hela, here's my straight kick with the shin, and I'm trying to send energy all the way up to the sky. I don't just stop here. And so, what that looks like is, and this is kind of like, the cat stance in many arts, same thing, all of the weight. Yeah. So that would be straight into the groin.
Yes. Nice. Wow. So unassuming. The movements, it's like, wow. And that's really a spiritual thing too, right? It's like, wow.
Well, I'll give you an example. So let's talk about spiritual rain, spiritual blessing, like abundance. So we've got sight from the eye, all the way out, physical, but you do it spiritual up to the heavens, right? But if you want to do rain, so like rain on self, abundance, it's this movement. Then Awana. So if I do this one-handed, this turns into now a strike with the bone right here, comes down, you break the nose and you stop at the clavicle or in the chest. So on Bob, this is just rain. So here. So if I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a driving that part all the way down. And this, I remember when my Olohi did this to me, it would last for 2 days. So these are all those moves,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really quite beautiful the way they're hidden throughout, The snake, right? The naheka. So you have this move here. Then you do seaweed up, seaweed. So in a cricket, we're going to turn that into the seaweed. We're going to close. So this is shooting up, kind of like American boxing, which usually our uppercuts are on a 45. We shoot here, ride, and then shoot. So we want to make sure, even if we can't see, we can feel. Once we get here, there's that extra.
Yeah.
So also, seaweed, snake. So crooked punch. Sometimes, like I said, we're not really facing this way. Sometimes we're down here and we have to throw. So I'm going to go on the outside of his arms. Here's my flower parry. Yes. And from here, I'm going to shoot. Now, my hips are forward. That's my 12. I'm going to shoot about 2 o'clock. Going on the outside of his arm, and I shoot.
Oh,
see,
nice.
So it's not necessarily just this.
Yes.
And I try to teach these movements in a regular, I call it cheerleading. That's probably disrespectful. But, there's the 1, 2, right? 1, 2. Then there's the leaning. Then there's the lunging. So bringing all of that together and knowing where your target is, where that's going to move them, and learn those energies and outputs.
And when to be explosive. That timing is, wow, that's some good stuff right there. I can't wait to come and join. I want to come and join.
I look forward to it.
So you have a lot of female students. So I know you have equal male and female students that train with you, correct?
The men are catching up. There's definitely more Wahine students than men, the Kane, but You know, I don't know what I did to deserve such amazing students. They're dedicated and thirsty and learning, and I just don't know what it's such a blessing.
They're a reflection of you. They are a reflection of
Oh,
you. That's
I
what
just keep showing up and they show up too.
yeah, man, I tell you, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Kumu Michelle. I thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Wow. Please, can we do this again?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Part
Okay.
two.
Okay. So you have my number. Call me anytime for any reason. It doesn't matter.
Likewise.
I'm always available. And I just appreciate you so much. I wish you the very, very best of life, of everything, of all the happiness you deserve.
Same.
I love that smile. You keep
Same.
smiling. I
You
mean, you're
too.
amazing.
Next time we'll
Thank
go
you.
over
And I will.
weapons.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, that was another thing I was thinking about. I said, when I was thinking about all the similarities, I'm like, okay, so we got the Midwest, we got Chicago, we got Kempo, we got 9 years old, we got 8, 9 years old, somewhere around there. We have, and we love the sticks and the weapons
Oh, yeah.
and this red lipstick. But more than anything, we love to see women winning. We love to
Yes.
see warrior women winning,
Absolutely.
and that's what we're going to continue to do. And I know that is our purpose individually and collectively. And I just want to send you just all the blessings in the world. I just, I love you, Michelle. Thank you so much. And we will
You
talk
too.
soon. Okay, dear. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. Okay. Bye-bye.